Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about Blocktopia. So this is a new metaverse that we just discovered a couple of days ago, and it's pretty fascinating. I mean, if you look at their website, it's pretty awesome. And then they show like a visual representation of what that metaverse is going to look like, and it's pretty attractive. So yeah, we're going to be talking about them and kind of breaking down what they're going to be doing in this metaverse, and most importantly, it has elements of play to earn, which is what we think is going to populate the metaverse. So I man, what are your initial thoughts? Just kind of looking through looking through the website and seeing what they offer.
Well, initial thoughts were the marketing team is obviously very experienced,
Yeah.
and my initial reaction was that was a turn off to me because it just felt too commercial, too like forced in my like it's too it pops too much in the sense that it felt. I don't know, like it's almost like they're presenting a face value representation of what it is they're trying to build, which is what marketing normally is, and
Yes.
just to kind of
Yes.
like lure you in, right? But once you actually dig into the substance, though, like there's some interesting aspects to this project, I think, because we come from Decentraland, right? So we come from this vast open world metaverse
Just
project
initially
ecosystem.
empty green
Yeah,
lands.
yeah, that exactly, and there's a lot of vast open greenness, right? So our scope of a metaverse is obviously like huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see this project coming. It's like we're building a building and they're calling it a metaverse. So at first I was like, what the fuck? How is this the metaverse?
Mm-hmm.
But after some research and stuff, I'm starting to think this might be a very smart, like strategic way to roll out maybe like the first stages of a metaverse, right?
Yeah, I think when it comes to a metaverse, one of the more important things is sustainability, and so you need to be able to commercialize the metaverse and commercialize not only for the main projects like creators, but for your community, right? They need some sort of way to jump in and like monetize their time,
Yeah.
because that's what attracts play to earn gamers, right? That's what's going to attract all the traditional gamers out there playing. There's we talked about how Roblox has 50 million daily active users, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once those 50 million daily active users get educated about blockchain and play to earn, you can easily imagine 50 million people or players coming in and spending their time for crypto. And so, I mean, creators of metaverses need to think about that and create something where they can come in and start earning. And I think that's what Blocktopia is, attempting to do. Which, I mean, that's the right path, right? So they have this. Let's see if I can pull up the map here. It's the last one here. So they have this huge building, and it's up to, what is it, level 21, and let's look.
21 floors for, I guess, in honor of 21 million Bitcoins, right? That's what they like to
Mm,
say.
like it.
So,
I like it.
yeah, pull on the heartstrings of the broader crypto community, dude. Once again, savvy marketing
Yeah.
in this team for sure.
And so it looks like they're selling these, I guess what you'd call sections, parcels, but they're calling these like reblocks, and then these are ad blocks. So the more expensive ones are the ad blocks at 1.5 million blocks, and I think it's 1.5 million per square, if I'm understanding this right.
Yeah, based on that visual representation, that's what I intuitively understood from this map too. Like the pink highlighted pixel is just
It's the one.
it's telling you how much like the ownership of that one NFT asset is going to cost you. And then, as a whole, it's a pretty fucking expensive block, dude. Like,
Yeah. So I man,
so
what is 1.5 million blocks?
I don't know. Do you have the price? Okay, there it
Yeah.
is.
It's
Oh, snap.
roughly
Look at that.
it's
Nice little correction happening in real time.
well, it's roughly 2 cents. So 2 cents multiplied by 1.5 million, it's roughly $30,000 per square. So
Dude, that's expensive. That's more expensive than, Decentraland land.
yeah,
Like,
the floor for Decentraland land is like $3,000 or $4,000.
yeah. And that's like an actual parcel. I don't think one of these little pixels is like that much actual virtual space. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. because you got to get in there and actually like walk around to really make that kind of judgment call.
Yeah.
But yeah, see like those storefront. There it is, right?
That's it.
Can you pause it or
No,
no?
you can't.
Okay, so there's a big like advertising board, essentially a tower.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. Like there it is.
Yeah.
How do you divide that into 100 pixels? And like, if does that mean like whatever revenue that ad board makes, you getting like 1 out of 100 of it or something?
I see. I'm not too sure. I'm sure these are things that are going to be figured out by the team. But that's why we're talking about it, because if you're spending $30,000, I mean, there better be some serious traffic in order to recoup your initial investment.
Yeah. Yeah, because based off this video I'm looking at and what the layout of the map represents, they don't match in the sense like that's a very small ad board, and there's no way you could divvy that up into 100 pieces. And then even if you do, like, what does that actually mean? Mm-hmm. But their main selling point for these assets is their revenue generating NFTs, right? Like that's something we're very familiar with and something we've been promoting for a couple of years now in Decentraland and in the metaverse space. And now it's good to see other projects kind of running along with that narrative, right? Like NFTs don't have to be static, dumb things that you just kind of like mush and gush over, like sitting in your wallets. Like they can actually work for you, you know, just like real world assets can, you know? So yeah, revenue generating potential is a huge next frontier, right? So for this project to recognize that and to leverage that and market it, to me, that's a really good signal, right? Yeah. But yeah, I just had this little discrepancy in my mind between like this map and what that actual ad board will be. And exactly like you said, in order for that to actually generate revenue, they're going to have to bring millions of people into this tower, you know?
Yeah. And you know what's interesting about the metaverse is that the people that you bring in are intimately engaged with the content, right? It's not like when you're watching YouTube or watching television and an ad pops up. There's a sense that you're not essentially engaged. So their value proposition is, if we get millions of eyeballs, then the ad will work because some people are going to be watching. But in the metaverse, if you get 1,000 people to come in, that 1,000 people are probably worth, $100,000. But if you get 1,000 people to look at your ad on YouTube, you get maybe $1. So the difference of a degree of engagement, it's going to be extremely valuable for advertisers to advertise in the metaverse because of engaged people. So there's a huge advertising opportunity just for any metaverse, right? So yeah, I mean, $30,000 seems like a lot, but maybe they're selling to people who got into their IDO, which their IDO.
And to be fair, if you go back to that chart, maybe they set these prices like way before this monster boom, right? Like we've experienced scenarios like this with our own project, right? Like we'll set a price for an asset, like our metas.
Yep.
At the time of setting a price, they were reasonably affordable, right? And then nowadays, you kind of look and see the price of these things. You know, it's a down payment on a house.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? So I think they're encountering this issue that,
You're right. Because if you look at it here, it's essentially about 100x difference from the bottom price here. Yeah. So that's a $300 advertising board instead of a $30,000.
Yeah, that's probably what they thought. Like, yeah, this is reasonable. A couple $100 to own a little pixel. Like, yeah, people will pay that. And then they had no idea, like, the freaking price would just surge.
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. So I would think, that's reasonable. At least initially. And then, once those NFTs are out there and they become trading, and then they become like, oh, my $300 NFT is generating me $1,500 a month, that's going to be a very valuable NFT.
Fuck yeah, dude. I agree.
So okay. So like I was saying before, they launched an IDO on 4 different platforms simultaneously. And so we're starting to see that a little bit more often. And I guess it's a strategy that these crypto projects are taking, which is smart. I mean, the more eyeballs you get on your project, the more you see charts that look like this, that go up.
That's a good point, yeah.
So, So, and another thing that I like about what these guys are doing is, if you look at their light paper, they talk about probably the single most important thing from my perspective is that they support the creator community. So it says here is create scenes, artworks, challenges, and more using the simple builder tool, which, builder tools is okay. But then for more experienced creators, you can use the SDK, which is a software development kit that provides tools to fill the world with social games and applications. And that is what we do, right? So I think the SDK is the single most important thing that any metaverse can be built with. And because it opens up to your community to start creating stuff. And developers are the ones who are going to be taking advantage of this whole metaverse creation stuff because they have the creativity. They have the ability to make stuff. And so yeah, this is a huge deal. And let's see, what does it say? Market analysis. So they're talking about the market cap of Decentraland, which is it's about $1 billion right now.
Mm-hmm.
Number of tokens.
So they're comparing themselves, right? And they're injecting themselves into this metaverse discussion as they should. And it's kind of cool to see this page because for the longest time, it's been like a three-headed dragon, maybe four, including Somnium Space. It's been mostly Decentraland, Sandbox, CV, and Somnium Space. Actually, CryptoVox isn't even on here, which is interesting. But yeah, now we're starting to see new entrants, including this project, which is why we're a new light has been sparked in our lives. Just because like we've been waiting for this moment, man. At least me personally, like to see more and more metaverses come because that's been our thesis for the longest time.
That's right.
It's going to be a multiverse metaverse. There's going to be thousands, potentially millions of metaverses in the future, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is good. This is a good example. I never would have imagined like just a single building being considered a metaverse.
Yeah, it is weird,
but it has a lot of. Yeah, it's definitely weird, but that's kind of like what you always used to say, right? The metaverse should be weird.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, dude. Using my words against me, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and it's interesting. 21 levels, right? It's 21 million Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have avatars too. So now there's going to be identity.
Yeah, exactly. Avatars is a core component to like a metaverse experience. And I just saw a video yesterday of like Roblox's new avatars, and it's just wild to think. So this is one thing where they need to up the weird factor because I'm kind of sick of like humanoid avatars. Yeah. But I'm sure with the SDK, there's going to be some kind of like wearable, custom ability. You can probably create your own custom avatars in the future, stuff like that. So
yeah. I want to take a look more at the different maps that they have. So they have 21 levels and levels 2 through 5, 6, 7 through 10, and all the way to level 21. So this must be like the VIP area where, okay, so
the freaking whales are gonna hang out probably.
Yeah, look at this, 2 million per block. So 1.5 million. And
so the ad blocks cost the same up there, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the real estate is a little more expensive. That's what Reblock stands for, right? Real estate?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Basically, it's the developer bandwidth of this metaverse, right? Like that's where you deploy assets and creations and stuff like that. These little Reblock zones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm curious what they're gonna do for these edges because they seem to want to sell like the edge of the building, and so I wonder if these are gonna be shops or just locations where you can deploy stuff, and then the black area is just the walking space area.
Yeah, I think it has like a very like a true
like a mall.
Yeah, like it has a true construction layout, like you would imagine a real physical building to have, right? Like they're accounting for human traffic.
Yeah.
Which is smart, right? Because that's like their main revenue generating potential. It's their main goal and ambition is to maximize traffic into this place. So yeah, it's cool that they have the design already thought ahead of time, right? How to like, I don't know, like get that flow going. You can imagine it's just going to be like an exploration of like different brands, like going from floor 1 to 21. You're just going to be visiting different IPs essentially.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, but look at this. So level 16. So I assumed level 1 would be the most expensive, and then maybe level 21 for like VIP or whatever it is. But But level 20, we're looking at an ad block here. Well, this one's 700,000, but some of these sections here, 16 million blocks.
Holy crap.
And then
Wait.
22
That's
million?
the big block though, right? That's
Yeah, these are
display.
the big blocks here. 16
Okay.
million, this pink one. And these ones have 3 million. So I'm curious, like, what this actually looks like in the virtual space. Like, what does this mean,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, because this floor doesn't have like the little square pixels anymore. They have big blocks. So I guess it's
Yeah.
like, bigger. Consider these
Estates.
estates, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, these are estates in their building. So they're
So yeah, I guess
reserved
that makes
probably
sense.
the bigger brands,
Yeah, which is why they're more expensive because they're bigger space. Okay.
Yeah, more space. So if you're a bigger brand, who knows? Like maybe Nike one day will purchase a kiosk
Yeah.
or one of these estates, and I mean, dude, there's a lot of potential in that, man. Like we know the virtual shopping space is going to blow up,
Agreed.
you know.
Agreed.
So I mean, this is not a bad idea.
Okay, so it looks like we have little pixels for sale all the way through level 10, and then now the bigger estates for sale from level 11 all the way through 20. Okay, so that's cool. So if you need an estate, like let's say maybe you're creating a game, you need a little bit more space, then you're going to be on 11 through 20. Yeah, this is.
So speaking of that, have they sold any of this land yet?
Yeah, they
Do you know?
did. They did. So it's a little weird. If we go back to their Medium page, NFT land sale whitelist is open. They ended up getting like almost 12,000 people sign up for the whitelist, and they're picking 50 random people. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, why so limited? I guess if it's a beta, they don't want to just.
Yeah, here it
They must be
is.
testing. They must be testing some things or something. Yeah.
So it says Blocktopia is delighted to announce that the closed beta whitelist for the NFT land sale portal has now been closed after roughly 12,000 people applied. The 50 lucky winners will be notified within the coming days.
Well, that's interesting. Well, there's definitely a lot of interest in 12,000 applicants. And
Yeah.
it's not surprising, like you said, after a quad IDO,
Yeah.
a quadio,
Quadio.
like you can expect like some massive initial interest, right? It's just a question of can they maintain this
Sure.
interest, right? And I think it's achievable. The metaverse space, it's so new and fresh. Like this is all interesting stuff.
Yeah. And, they have this concept of sole ownership and multiple ownership with reblock and ad blocks. Multiple ownership, which is revenue generating a reblock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what can I earn? So the best way to show that is the example. PokerStarter Virtual Store on level 1 is made up of 100 reblocks. PokerStar's Virtual Office purchase price was 640 blocks. 640,000 blocks per reblock. And they purchased 100 of these. So what is that? 60 million? Damn. What the hell?
Well, PokerStarters has a lot of loot, dude.
Yeah, they do.
But that's one hell of a commitment again.
That
like
is. That
but
means
I'm pretty sure like they're one of the 4 IDO platforms, right? From the Quadio.
yeah. No, they weren't. PokerStar wasn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, they weren't.
Well, that's very good.
So I don't know. This might be an example. It's 64 million blocks. So the tenacity for each virtual space is set at 10% of the total amount of reblock for each tenant. So PokerStar's annual rental of reblock, number 2 on level 1, is 6.4 million blocks. That tenancy fee is then split between the NFT holders. So if you own one reblock on number 2 on level 1, you get 64,000 blocks per annum distributed to you monthly.
So that is what those pixels represent. They're just ownership cubes, essentially.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. That's interesting. So they already have like big contracts in already set up, it sounds like, for advertising.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're saying.
Yeah, to put so now the ad block is on level 1 is made of 100 ad blocks. So purchase price is 3 million block per NFT. So that's 30 million blocks. Sorry, 300 million blocks. That means that all 100 ad blocks are worth 300 million blocks. If this totem were to receive 1 million impressions a day, 1 million impressions after the media, which is no big deal for some websites, right? But the metaverse is different, right? After the media agency fees, the revenue generated would be 1.1 million USD per year, equivalent to 68.7 million blocks. So the advertising revenue is then split between the NFT holders. So if you own one ad block, you get 687,000 blocks per annum. This figure isn't guaranteed. It will, of course, fluctuate based on the amount of impressions. So you're right. It is ownership cube. So if that space gets 1 million views per year, then you're generating 680,000 blocks.
No, 1 million impressions a day. Like to generate that kind of ad revenue.
Holy God damn.
So what is an impression in the metaverse space? We tackle with this discussion, don't we? Like
yeah, we do.
It's not the same as like a 2D web interface. Like in the 3D space, like how do you?
I think an impression in the metaverse space is just loading into your computer. Because there's no guarantee, unless they built this into the platform, there's no guarantee that you're actually looking at it.
Because you actually like have to navigate your character's perspective towards this advertisement in order to like have that impression, right?
And for sure, you can actually measure impressions with that. But for Decentraland's case, you can't do that yet. However, you know what's been loaded in your perimeter. And so if it's been loaded, I consider that as an impression because eventually you might look at it.
I would too. I mean, if you're within the vicinity and there's this big ass motherfucking mega ad board, like the pretty high probability you're going to look at that thing. You know what I mean? Especially as like flashy and cool as they made them look, you know?
Yeah. Okay, guys. So we explained how NFT revenue generation is going to happen with Blocktopia.
I think we should talk a little more about this project in the future as it develops. You know, I'm actually very interested to see how this pans out. It's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, and if anyone from Blocktopia wants to come on and chat, we're definitely open to having a conversation with you guys. Maybe an hour podcast just to talk about, pick your brain on what you're thinking of the metaverse. And so, of course, this is always an open invitation for anyone to come on and chat. But yeah, so we really appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, comment in the comment section below, and subscribe, follow us on Twitter @TheBlockRunner, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace out.